The views expressed in this episode are the opinions of the cast members and do not represent the views of the United States Navy or the United States government. Shit.
Chief, when did you find out that they got rid of the mentorship program?
Oh man. I
Like a
feel
couple
like it
days ago,
was
right?
January. No. January, February. It was before COVID. And I'm pretty sure it was January, February, because that's when I took over the Sailor 360 program. And yeah, so we dissolved the mentorship, canceled the instruction, and the guidance that I received was that mentorship was to be a part of the Sailor 360 program. Yeah, mentorship.
Yeah.
Say
To our
not-
last night ashore,
Sure.
drink
Drink
to
to
the
the
foam, till we
till-
meet.
Hello and welcome to another episode of What the Navy. If you're new to our channel, again, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all of that wonderful things. And today, for those newcomers, I'd just like to introduce I am Petty Officer Davis, and along with me are our other co-hosts today, Petty Officer Battaglia and Chief Peavy. And today we are going to be covering mentorship. And our special guest will be Chief Warrant Officer Niebauer.
Hey, what?
Hey.
How you doing, Warrant? All these
Good
cool
evening, sir.
backgrounds. Oh my God.
Hey, can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, sir. Oh, look at that
Hey.
background.
Right?
Wow. How you get to the
Yeah, I went all
mainland
the way
so
to San
quick?
Francisco. That's right.
Hey, sir.
Sir, when you come back, can you bring us some Chipotle and maybe some Sonic? That'd be great.
Oh,
some
absolutely.
Would be awesome.
Yeah,
Ocean
Sonic
water.
is legit. Yeah.
Hey, sir. So right before you came in, we were talking about when I found out the mentorship program was canceled. So I said, I think it was pretty sure it was the beginning of 2020. And the guidance that I got was, it was going to be part of Sailor 360 program. And that was kind of it. Then we went into COVID-19. And so I am very, very excited that we get to talk about this, and especially excited to talk about this with Warren Niebauer. And I'll share why in a second. But so I'm really excited because the trend lately, and I haven't just been asking my sailors, I had EP1 midterms over the past couple of weeks, and then just asking other sailors just out of the blue, do you have a mentor? And not all of the responses. Some of the responses were good. Yeah, I got a mentor, or yeah, I got a couple of mentors, but there were uncomfortably too many sailors, and one is enough, right? Too many sailors that said, no, I don't have a mentor. The mentorship program was canceled. Didn't you hear, Chief? So that was really unsettling. And so got to get it out there that the mentorship program is not canceled. The formal mentorship program that we may have come into the Navy with, the pen and ink program, the written instruction program, the requirements of having to get a mentor in 90 days, all of that stuff was canceled, in my opinion, because it was ineffective.
It really was. It was very ineffective.
So I got to go. This is so bad. I got to go get the door. I'm sorry. My bad. Someone's dropping off a gift.
Nope,
Sorry
that's
about that.
fine. I do agree with Chief, though. I will say it was ineffective only in the sense of it was forced. And it was like when we got to certain areas, we didn't even really get time to go meet new people or meet certain people to know who we want as our mentor and stuff. So it was kind of like at that point, it was just, I'm just putting this person down on pen and paper so y'all can stop bugging me about it. Yeah, I was about to say, I can't hear you.
Yep. There we go. There's the first one in for the season. Hopefully the last. Sir, just so you know, there's a running gag that Pastor Sorolla and Pastor Davis came up with that whenever I forget to unmute my mic, I get a strike. So that's strike one for season 2. And it happens ridiculously a lot. But anyways, as I was saying before I realized I was muted, It's pretty common that I've noticed that for the entire 11 years I've been in so far, that you'll report to a command and they'll immediately say, "Go get a mentor." I don't know anybody at this command. It's going to take me at least a year to learn half these people's names. I'll learn a year to learn who's good, who's bad. I mean, sometimes you can tell right off the bat, but a lot of times you don't really get to know people's character for at least a year. At least in my opinion. But yeah, Chief, welcome back.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry about that. So, should I just pick up where I left off?
Yeah. I mean, me and Davis kind of talked a little bit, went on a couple side streets, but we're good. Ready for you.
But yeah, so I agree.
And I kind of fell off too. So, but I'm back.
I agree. The paper-based mentorship program was ineffective. Probably just not a good thing. It had its stigma. And if it existed still today, I'd probably still feel the same way. And the issue I have with dissolving the mentorship program, and the guidance might exist, but I haven't seen it, or I haven't at least sought it, was that mentorship should be happening all the time. And not just, I understand like at the E4 and below level, like your mentors are within your division. But in my personal opinion, E5 and above should have multiple mentors all around a command, at previous commands. I was talking about the other day, have a mentor for specific goals that you have. Don't limit yourself to one or two mentors, right? You want to be a warrant officer, talk to Warrant Niebauer about, ask him if you don't even have to ask to, hey, will you be my mentor? It doesn't have to be like that. Like it should just be a normal thing. But the problem, and I understand where it can be an issue, is when we work in an environment that's like ours, a tradition, a typical day at work, right? You go into work, you get on a computer because that's where your tasking is, that's where your work is. You get on a computer, and then 8 hours later, you find yourself, it's the end of the day, right? And it's not the best environment for fostering mentorship. So I get that, but much more important is just understanding that mentorship does exist, should always exist. And in my opinion, like that is the way of the Navy. That is what is so awesome about this experiment that we all have the opportunity to be a part of, So I met Warrant Officer Niebauer. I can pin down the month and year. This was August of 2019, and we were doing an event, and he just so happened to be a part of that event. It was a running event, and I didn't know where he came from. I didn't know what his rank was. I think he was probably like 3 days new to the command, but he was just running with us, So I'm assuming he's another chief petty officer, right? So, and we're out there, super prideful, super excited, singing cadence and things like that. And I'm like, all right, so who is this new guy that I don't know about? And all of a sudden he comes out and starts spitting game. He starts spitting game with the cadences. And we were like, what? And so after that, I found out, he was Warrant Officer Niebauer. And sir, I haven't told you this yet, but like what was really awesome about you to me was the second interaction we had was directly involved Sailor 360. And those conversations that we had preparing for training were some of the best conversations that I've had in years. And I really miss that, and I really enjoy it. And as much as I'd like to simulate that through this podcast, it's not the same because it's not personal interaction. But super happy, super glad that you're here. From what I understand, you were pretty excited about being on this podcast, and I'm very grateful that you are doing what you can to support and just bringing that type of energy. So thank you again for being on the show.
Okay, so you're a little broken up. Hopefully I'm not coming across as broken up, but thank you for the kind words. But honestly, it's my honor to sit down with you guys. It truly is, because push comes to shove. At some point we all retire, and the horizon for my retirement is much closer than all of you. So I need to make sure that when I leave, that the Navy is in a better place than when I came in. And that's hard to do, because it was a pretty good Navy when I came in. I mean, we had our ugly babies and things like that, but at the same time, it was still a pretty good place to be. But right off the bat, so I jotted down a couple thoughts I had, because I wanted to get some of these things across to you guys, or just make sure you get it out there. And the first one, this is one that was told to me probably 20 years ago. And that is in regards to mentorship. The two easiest ways to learn: mistakes and mentors. So, I mean, and that's what it's all about. And the thing of it is, and I've learned this my own as I've been, doing this Navy thing for a while now. To just listen well. But to be a great mentor is to help somebody by helping them to become or reach their personal potential, to be what they are, not what you are. We tend to seek out people. We say, hey, I'm going to pick that person as my mentor because I want to be more like them, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But as a mentor, you have to understand that, you don't want to make another you. I don't want another me. I want you guys to be better than me. I want you guys to achieve more than I have. If you do that, then I succeeded. So, I mean, that's my 2 cents on that. And as far as that run goes, I remember that. And it was, I always said, hey, I will come out and I'll PT with the junior sailors. I'll PT with the chiefs. I'll PT with I'll PT with anybody if I'm invited. I'm not going to insert myself into that process, because, especially with the junior sailors and the chiefs, because a lot of times the impression is that, they feel obligated to say yes when they really don't want to. And I don't want to put somebody in that position. But now Senior Chief Briggs, or soon to be Senior Chief Briggs, invited me to come out, and he said, hey, if you'd like to come out and PT with us. I was like, heck yeah, I'll come out. You just tell me where to be and when. And so I wanted to come out, and then, if we're going to run in formation, there's some music. If there's not cadence, then there's no sense in running. So when we started to start repeating certain cadences, and it was getting a little quiet, I did kind of assert myself, say, okay, well, I'm going to step out there and call a little cadence myself, because I want. First of all, some of those I think were new to most of the chiefs; they never heard them before, and also just because it's good. It's nothing builds camaraderie as much as sweating together. Like, what was it they say? Iron sharpens iron, right? So, yeah.
There was one thing you mentioned when we had the opportunity to be in the same room and talk about training for Sailor 360. I think Petty Officer Davis might have been there, but it's something that I think about. Something that I think about a lot. It's a theme that I've brought up a few times, at least once or twice during the show, and it was the idea that as a senior sailor, or excuse me, a sailor who is older, a sailor who is more experienced, a sailor who has been in for longer, that it's important. And I think sometimes leaders can forget how important it is to kind of get in the heads of junior sailors. Because yes, sure, at one point we were all seamen, third class, second class, first class petty officers. But for some of the senior enlisted, some of the senior officers, it's been a long, long time. And so it's important to kind of keep our general ideas and understandings of how junior sailors think. It's important to keep that refreshed, right? So yeah, I just wanted to shout you out again, just for allowing me to remember that, right? And that's a big theme of this show, or at least for me, a big theme of the show is to be able to get into the thoughts and the thought processes of junior sailors, and then allowing them to get in our thought processes, right? And I think that interaction is just it does nothing but good overall. And so when it comes to mentorship, specifically me providing mentorship, that's also a big theme. And it's important for me to remember that there are conversations that I have with sailors that I'm probably, or there's a potential for me to get more out of the conversation than the sailor, right? Because sailors are all over the place today. Sailors are all over the place today. And when you can crack a sailor open, right? When you can take away that wall they may put up because of the uniform that you're wearing, or because of the understanding that you've done 3 or 4 more tours, like you can really learn a lot about sailors. And obviously, hopefully they're learning just as much, if not more, from the guidance that I have the opportunity to provide. So, sir, I'm sure you are a mentor to probably thousands of sailors.
I wouldn't say thousands, because, well, first of all, my belief is that everybody's a mentor. I don't care if you just walked into the Navy yesterday or you've been in the Navy for 30 years. And not necessarily, I mean, we're couching it on Navy right now, but everybody, you can learn something from everyone. Everybody's background is different. How you grew up, where you're coming from. There's always an opportunity to learn. The key is to be curious, right? Now, to be a good mentor, you've got to really give your attention. Like the listener part is huge, right? You got to really give your attention to whoever your mentee is. Otherwise, it's not going to be valuable to them, and it's not going to be valuable to you either. So that's the key, and that's really what you have to work at. So I would say for me, I mentor sailors every day. Now, I would not say that I'm their mentor, because that is an individual choice that you make, much like you guys addressed early on, which is the forced mentorship, which, again, I don't know that there's anybody that thinks that was a good idea. But the key with this is that, everybody, if you approach everybody with a sense of curiosity and a genuine willingness to listen to what they have to say, you're going to learn something, guaranteed. I learned, just like you were saying, Chief, I learn things from sailors every day. I love the opportunity. I love the opportunity to do this. It's really selfish on my part, because I get the opportunity to listen and learn. It's like a free class I get to take. And that happens every day when I get to interact with the sailors, and not just junior, my peers and senior, good and bad alike, because you can learn just as much from somebody who you consider to be not necessarily very good, as you can from somebody who is great at whatever it is you're asking about. So, luckily for me, I've been very fortunate to encounter or surround myself with people who are really good and really genuinely try to do good things. So I've been very fortunate that way. But from a mentor perspective, working with mentees, I don't even like to use mentees. Working with proteges, I'll say the real key is to listen and find out where they're going, where their goals are. I think the Navy's initial intent when they created the mentorship program was less about having sailors have mentors and more about forcing them to actually have to think about what their goals are and where they're going. Because when you sit down with a mentor, that's the first thing you talk about. What are your goals? And if it's not, it should be. When I have the time, which I truly make as much time as I can to sit in on CDBs and on eval debriefs and any of those things. If I'm there, you can guarantee the first question that's going to come out of my mouth is, what are your goals? And I will tell you, I get more blank stares about that question than I do about who's your mentor. So that's the thing. And so if you walk out from a CDB with me, or you walk out from a conversation with me, you're going to have two pieces of homework right off the bat. Number one is write down a short-term goal and post that thing on your refrigerator, on your mirror, on your windshield of your car. I don't care, someplace your dashboard, someplace where you're going to see it every day. And then a long-term goal. And it can be your timeline is your timeline. If your short-term goal is within the next 6 weeks, so be it. If your short-term is the next year, that's great too. Long-term, next 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is, write them down, make them real. In your head, they're just thoughts, but you write them down, now they're real. And that's really what it comes down to. And as a mentor, now you have something you can work with. Now you have something you can hold people accountable to. Without that, then it's just a conversation.
That's it for this episode of What the Navy. Stay tuned for part 2, where Chief Warrant Officer Niebuhr continues this conversation. We're looking forward to it. See you at the next episode.
Thank you for watching this week's episode. Please give us a like and subscribe and hit the notification button so you can catch all our episodes as they're uploaded or when we do it live.
If you would like to be a part of the show and have a topic that you would like covered, please email us at whatthenavy@gmail.com or leave us a comment below. Thank you for watching this episode of What the Navy.